At some point today, you'll probably do at least 3 things without ever getting out of your car, standing in a line, or talking to a single person. You won't even think about it, and that's kind of the point. There are about 12 systems built into American daily life that most people use constantly, but never actually stop to look at. And when you lay them all out next to each other, a really specific design philosophy starts to show up. Every one of them was built to remove a friction point from your day. Number 1, drive-through pharmacies. The drive-through pharmacy gets written off as a lazy convenience, but the problem it actually solved was that sick people had to drag themselves inside a building, stand in a line, and breathe the same air as everyone else who was also sick, just to collect a prescription that was already filled and waiting for them. The drive-through flipped that. You pull up, send your ID through a pneumatic tube, and the pharmacist handles everything on their end while you stay in your seat. The tube moves a canister through pressurized air fast enough that the whole round trip takes under a minute. What changed wasn't just the speed. The window restructured who the pharmacy actually worked for, because elderly patients, people with mobility issues, and parents with small kids in the back seat don't need a ramp or a special accommodation anymore. Number 2, drive-through banking services. Banking used to mean parking, walking in, waiting in a teller line, and hoping you'd brought the right paperwork. Drive-through banking compressed all of that into a lane, a speaker, and a tube. The pneumatic tube is doing real work here. It moves cash, checks, and documents through pressurized air without crumpling anything inside, fast enough that the teller on the other end can process the transaction while you sit with your engine running. That same tube technology ran through department stores in the 1940s and 1950s, moving cash between floors, and banks basically borrowed it whole. What broke wasn't just the process. It was the assumption that financial transactions required you to be inside a building at all. And once that assumption cracked, it didn't stop at the drive-through lane. Number 3, self-checkout grocery lanes. Nobody asked for self-checkout. Grocery chains ran the numbers on labor costs and decided that if a machine did the scanning, they could stop paying someone to do it. And if customers moved faster through the line, they probably wouldn't notice they'd absorbed the work themselves. The machine is actually doing something specific underneath all that. Every item in the system has a weight profile stored in it. So when you scan something and drop it in the bag, the scale checks whether the weight matches. That's the unexpected item in bagging area error. The number didn't match, so a human gets flagged. Number 4, curbside pickup for online orders. Curbside pickup feels like something that appeared overnight during the pandemic, but hardware stores and auto parts shops had been running the same basic model for years before anyone called it curbside. Number 5, same-day package delivery networks. Same-day delivery runs on about 25 million packages a day, and the only reason that number is possible is that the warehouses are no longer sitting out in rural industrial zones miles from anyone. They moved into suburban and urban areas specifically so a package can travel from a shelf to your door in hours by ground vehicle, not air freight. The last mile is where the money goes. Getting a package from a regional hub to a local sorting station costs a fraction of what it costs to drive it to your actual door, because every stop is different. Every driveway takes a different amount of time, and there's a human in that van for every single one. Number 6, mobile ordering at restaurants. The line at the counter was always the single point of failure for the whole restaurant experience. And mobile ordering just moved the transaction out of the building entirely before you even arrived. When you order on the app, the kitchen gets the ticket the same way it always did. But nobody's standing at the counter processing your payment while 6 people wait behind you. Throughput goes up because those 2 jobs split apart. Number 7, highway rest areas with full facilities. Highway rest areas don't show up in conversations about time-saving infrastructure, but they're doing something pretty specific. They consolidate what would otherwise be 4 separate stops into one, so you don't have to exit the highway, navigate surface streets, find a gas station, find food, and then fight your way back to the on-ramp. The layout isn't accidental. Fuel pumps sit close enough to the building that one person can fill the tank while someone else uses the restroom, and the whole stop can run under 15 minutes if you're moving with purpose. Number 8, automatic garage door openers. Before garage door openers existed, the whole process of getting your car inside required stopping twice. Once to get out and lift the door, and once more to get back out and pull it shut behind you, in whatever weather happened to be going on that day. Early remote openers ran on a single fixed radio frequency, so any opener on the same frequency could trigger any door in the neighborhood. The rolling code system fixed that by generating a new code with every button press from a pool of billions, and each code expires the moment it's used. Number 9, 24-hour convenience stores. Most retail closes at night because the math stops working, but human needs don't follow store hours, and that gap between roughly 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. is exactly what the 24-hour convenience store was built to fill. Running a store overnight is expensive because transaction volume drops, but labor costs don't. So the product mix does the heavy lifting. Prepared food, hot drinks, and lottery tickets carry margins that packaged goods can't match, and a slow overnight shift can still turn a profit if the average purchase is high enough. Number 10, contactless payment systems. Tapping your card takes about half a second. Inserting a chip card takes anywhere from 8 to 15 seconds while the terminal runs through its handshake. That gap doesn't matter when you're the only person in line. But at a subway turnstile or a stadium concession stand during peak hours, 12 seconds per person is enough to stack a line out the door. The technology running a contactless tap is near-field communication, which transfers data between your card and the terminal using electromagnetic induction at about 4 centimeters range. Your actual card number never moves. The terminal receives a one-time token that's only valid for that specific transaction. So intercepting the signal gets you nothing usable. Number 11, online tax filing services. Tax filing used to mean hiring someone who understood the code or spending a weekend with paper forms spread across your kitchen table. Online filing compressed that into something most people finish in under an hour. The software works as a decision tree. It asks you questions, and your answers tell it which form fields to fill and which sections to skip entirely. The math was never the hard part. Knowing which questions to ask was. Number 12, grocery delivery subscriptions. Every other system on this list shaved time off, something you were still doing yourself. Grocery delivery subscriptions just removed the trip entirely. The operational problem is perishability. Electronics can sit in a van for 8 hours without any issue. Salad greens can't, so the whole delivery chain needs refrigerated vehicles, insulated packaging, and tight delivery windows to keep frozen items frozen.